afternoon. It is Friday afternoon. We are Friday live for the next half an hour or so. I'm delighted to be joined by my very good friend and I suppose a partner in crime in some respects, because we've been working together for a long time on multiple different projects. Mr. Jack Green of Jack Green Media. Jack, it's been fantastic to have you here today. So tell us all in about 60 to 90 seconds about what it is you do, how it is you add value to your clients.
Okay, so I help people who want to increase their visibility online through video, audio, or live streaming. Typically, they're frustrated. Maybe they're in a particular marketplace and a lot of the people in the marketplace have the same USPs. And their only real USP is themselves. You know, I love people and I want to show people who people are. Other than that, I'm a child that likes making stuff and put it on the internet that I call the fridge. And I grew up from that. I like to take something and put it on the fridge. And the internet is now my fridge.
I love it. So yes, I remember when I was a kid and used to sort of get my drawings put on the fridge, and now you've got a very big one which happens to be digital. Yes, nice. A lot more people see it, I guess. There, that's pretty cool. So yeah, good stuff. Thank you very much, Jack. So I mean, a little bit of a background. Jack and I have kind of known each other for a number of years, and really these days he's an expert in all things, as he says, sound and vision. Hence the name of today's title. I couldn't resist the David Bowie reference. I know it's self-indulgent. I can only apologise, but sorry, not sorry. I don't care. I'm just going with the David Bowie reference anyway. So let's start off. Video is such an important tool in this day and age. I mean, it has been for a long time, but I mean, really, since the start of this whole thing that we've been going through for the last 12 months, without being boring and talking about the same thing that everybody talks about, really, we are in a situation where video has now become a business critical skill. I think it's fair to say. Let's split it down a little bit. You mentioned that you do video, you do audio, and you do live streaming. So thinking about video as a pre-recorded thing to start with, what are the sorts of key things that people need to be thinking about in order to do video as a pre-recorded video and do it well for something like LinkedIn, let's say?
Okay, so if we're not going to go into sort of too much technical stuff, you need to think about your lighting, in the sense that it's not hard. I'm using no lighting here today. I'm using a window. We've all got one of those, hopefully. If you don't, I'm really sorry. Just don't sit in front of the window. Have the window on your face so you can see yourself, so you are lit, and it will look infinitely better, even through, this is a £20 webcam. It's nothing. Second is sound. Make sure the microphone's not across the other side of the room. I'm fortunate. I've got this just out of shot. So yeah, make sure the mic is close to you. If you've got the Apple earbuds, whack them in, use that, connect that up to your phone.
So that's those sorts of things. Yeah, okay. These aren't Apple, by the way. Other brands are available, but yeah, I get your point.
I'm sorry, shouldn't endorse.
That's all right. That's all right.
Second, another thing, don't have the camera shaky. No one wants to see this. A small tripod isn't going to break the bank, or even use books. Exactly. Someone thought we prepared this earlier.
Absolutely. There you go. Little tiny one with a thing for your mobile phone on top. There you are.
Fourth, I'd go for length. Don't have anything overly long. And fifth, particularly on LinkedIn, etc., subtitles. There's nothing more frustrating than when I'm being a little bit naughty and sitting next to my partner when I should be spending attention to her, and I'm actually on LinkedIn and scrolling down, and I can't put the sound on because she'll get angry that she can't hear whatever Netflix thing I'm supposed to be watching. And I can't see what you're talking about. I need to read it at that point. I love sound. I love audio. Audio is my first love. But you got to appeal to everyone.
Interesting. Really good point. So there's a couple of things I want to pick up on there. So the first thing is around length. You said don't make it too long. I mean, without sort of wanting to sound sort of too judgmental about it, how long is too long?
As short as possible.
Okay.
So make sure for all the time it's happening, the video is happening, keep it that you're adding value at every possible moment. The moment you stop adding value, that's when the video needs to stop.
That's a really, really good point. And I guess, value's in the eye of the beholder. So I guess the quicker you get to the point, the better. the quicker you start adding real insight that people can use something from, the better. And I know videos on LinkedIn you can host up to is about 10 minutes.
Oh God, have I ever watched a 10-minute video on LinkedIn?
No, I know. Well, no, who has, right? I mean, typically, I mean, maybe my attention span is shorter than most, but I mean, sort of 2 to 3 minutes is pretty much my attention span most of the time. Would you say it's about right?
Yeah, I think the thing that sort of gets me about LinkedIn, and I get it's a technical thing, and I get it's a learning curve for a lot of people, but if you're serious about doing video on LinkedIn, it's probably worth the few hours it'll take to learn the basics of what to do. But editing, no one seems to edit video on LinkedIn. Even if you do it very, very simply, where you're just chopping between 2 shots of yourself, so you cut out the waffle. Yes, the edit itself will look a little bit messy, potentially, but it's going to keep the content short, and more people are going to watch it still because it's going to be tight and to the point. Yeah,
fair challenge. Yeah, okay. So let's talk about editing then. I mean, what's the sorts of things that people can edit a video on? Because I mean, we might already be getting into the sorts of waters where, you know, the amateur video maker who's thinking about embarking on his or her first video using their mobile phone, they might be thinking, "Ooh, right, okay, editing. That's a bit scary." What's the sorts of ways that people can actually edit a video simply?
Well, that's tricky because I obviously do it on professional, expensive software. So I don't really have much of an experience with sort of more budget options. But if you have a Mac, iMovie,
yeah, sure.
There's plenty. If you search free video editors, you will be flooded with options and opinions. I think there's one called HitFilm that I've never used. And I imagine the same for apps that can use videos off your phone. They're bound to exist.
I know iMovie is also available on your mobile phone, and I know that historically, when I still had an Apple phone, I was able to edit films reasonably easily using the version where I had to do it with my thumbs. And I've got a thing on my Android which is a fairly similar bit of kit. So I mean, like you say, if you just search the Play Store or the iOS store, you'll find something. Even if you have to spend a couple of quid on it, it is only that. It's a couple of quid.
Yeah, I think the main thing to do is seem to be putting effort in. Put the effort in to produce something that is worth me spending my time to watch. Yeah,
I like that, and I think that effort bit comes to another point as well, which is standing out from the crowd. Because I don't want to be judgmental. I mean, look, at the end of the day, we're doing a live stream here, so editing is not available to us. You know, all the ums, the ers, and the mistakes are here, and they are live for you to see. If it happens to be that our language gets a little bit accidentally salty during the course of it, you know, if the odd little expletive slips out because we're all grown-ups here together, then you know we can't edit that out. That is not available to us. Similarly, subtitles not available to us, and we'll come back and talk about those in a minute. But you know, when you are doing that little recorded video, you know, the problem is there's a lot of them out there, and they all start to look a little bit samey, don't they? So, you know, how do we stop ourselves kind of getting sucked into just looking like everybody else? When you say effort, what sorts of effort are you thinking about?
Some creative thought sometimes.
Okay.
You know, something that's a little bit different. Scroll down LinkedIn, look at the first 5 videos you see, and don't do what any of those are doing.
Brilliant. Yeah, simple as that. So, there's a Sandler rule. If the competition's doing it, stop doing it straight away. Yeah. You got to stand out, right? I mean, and you can't stand out by looking the same as everybody else. No, that's a really, really good point. I like that.
And I said the first thing to be is be polished. Be as polished as you can be without spending money with someone like me.
Okay, so what does polish look like then? I mean, if I'm the amateur person, I'm wanting to just pick up my mobile phone and start recording. I mean, I'm guessing that polish doesn't involve me simply picking up the phone and starting to talk straight into it without any rehearsal or anything like that.
Yeah, so it starts in planning or pre-production, as I'd call it. Plan what you're going to say. I don't think script it, because then you'll sound like you're reading it. There's nothing worse than watching someone read something, particularly when they try and read it slowly, slower than I could read it myself. in a horrible way. I don't want to sort of call anyone out, you know what I'm saying, but it doesn't want to feel unnatural. It wants to feel like a natural talk, which is why editing in multiple takes is so good. As I said before, the camera doesn't want to be wobbling. Have the camera still, unless you're doing a walk and talk kind of thing, and you're doing that kind of, and that's the feel you want to go for, but then it is inherently going to look a little rougher. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it is start with the end in mind. What is it you're trying to achieve, right?
Yeah, and just have a professional approach to it. I keep seeing the chat pop up. It distracts me. I love the interaction.
Fantastic. So shall we have a quick look? Oh yeah, hello Nikki, lovely to see you. We've got Martin and John Bell also saying hello. Richard's saying hello. Andy Hollins is there. Hello Andy. John Bell's there. Good stuff. Martin Williamson is agreeing that length is good. 30 to 60 seconds, best attention grabber. Spot on, Martin. Totally agree with that. And Martin's also Martin's on fire today. He's chucked in Android. There's a free video editor called UCut Video Editor, and Subtitles. You can use it AutoCap, which is very good. We'll come back and talk about Subtitles again in a minute, Martin. That's cracking. And there you go. And he's also saying it took him nearly 15 minutes to do a 30-second hello video for on his mobile to send with a connection request. That's a really good point. I mean, on average, Jack, you're talking about the level of effort that people put into these things. I mean, on average, how long does it take you to kind of record a sort of 30-second to 1 minute video?
So if I'm presenting a very long time, so my video business card, which is available on my website or my LinkedIn profile, subtle plug, that took me a full afternoon just to do the bits with me talking, in the sense that I filmed it once. Because I was filming myself, I inherently didn't notice that the t-shirt I was wearing looked terrible. So I had to redo it all. And then I spent another hour just looping round the 90 seconds, and then I chop it all up later. You know, I said, "Hi, I'm Jack from Jack Green Media" at least 30 times.
And so you really practiced those words though, right? You got really good at them by the end of it.
No, every time now. First take.
Absolutely. You know exactly who you are and where you come from. That's impressive. Well done. Good stuff. No, listen, I think this is useful. And we've mentioned subtitles a couple of times here. And you mentioned that, you know, there's that thing of scrolling down and, you know, wanting to be able to watch something with the sound off for, you know, various social reasons. But also, you know, sometimes when you're scrolling through, you don't automatically stop and watch a video unless something grabs your attention. And certainly I've noticed that if the first 5, 6, 7 words that are appearing on the subtitles are a bit of a headline, a bit of an attention grabber, it makes me go, whoa, okay, that's interesting. And I stop and I'll play. Do you sort of see subtitles as being useful for that as well? Yeah,
I mean, obviously you'll be able to tell me much more about pattern interrupts and all those kind of things, because that's what you do. But of course, yeah, grab people in the first 20 or 30 seconds, because if you don't, they're gone already. And yeah, the subtitles are good for making people unmute as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is the point at which they can hear your tone of voice and hear who you really are and all that kind of stuff. So I think, you know, it is still worth focusing on the sound, even if you do the subtitles. Is I guess where I'm coming from with this. It's
yes, yeah.
Good. So, I mean, one of the things that I've used in the past is rev.com for subtitles. I mean, I know you're a fan of that as well. It is chargeable, unlike some of the apps once you've downloaded them. But I find the results are really good. Talk to us about the various different options for subtitles.
I wouldn't know. I just use rev.com. You could do them manually, but that just takes way too long. I'd much rather spend a few dollars and they do so well that I've never really tried anything else. Because I think
that's fair. That's fair. I mean, I'll second that.
It works and it's cheap. Why shop?
Absolutely. Why would you go anywhere else? To quote somebody in our network. Yeah, no, absolutely right. It's $1.25 per minute that you actually do, and it's real people rather than AI that's doing it. And so you're getting 90% plus accuracy levels, which is really, really good. It just comes back to you as an SRT file, which is that doesn't sound fancy. Basically, you open it in a text editor. It's so easy. You can just go in and just correct the minor little things that you need to tweak, and then you just simply upload it to LinkedIn. The bit where you upload your video, it says edit video, add subtitles, and you just upload the file. Piece of cake.
It's really easy. They've also got a really nice inbuilt editor where you can watch your video in time with the subtitles, and I tend to just use that.
Well, there you go. I've learned something new here today because I had no idea they did that. I'm just clunky and old school. I open it in a text file because I'm just, basically a bit of a Luddite. What can I say? There you go. So let's. In fact, there's a couple of other things here just appearing in the. Here we go. Nikki's giving you a big shout out. Nikki Bartley saying you helped me do my video really easily, Jack, in only 2 hours. It was fab. Thank you, Nikki. That's a big shout out there for Jack from her. Richard Dawson is saying Subtitle, which is like Subtitle only with a Z. Or Z for our American audience, is the best one AI-wise. It's about 80% accurate. Thank you very much, Richard Dawson. That is a top tip. Excellent stuff. This is great. Really good interaction. Thank you very much indeed for that. That's super useful. So we talked a little bit about vision, and we mentioned sound. Moving on to sound itself, I mean, one of the other things that I've noticed has really become, I mean, I guess it was already on the rise when the pandemic first hit, but it seems to have become massive over the last year, is podcasts. So, I mean, if you are the archetypal kind of wannabe podcaster, or you're thinking about getting into this whole kind of podcast revolution and bringing some of this into your content marketing strategy, or hell, if you just want to get out there and actually say some stuff to the world because you haven't seen anybody for 12 months, I mean, what's the sorts of things that people should be thinking about? What should they be investing in?
I think if you're focusing predominantly on sound, I think you just have to buy a microphone to do it properly. I think if you're going to do a podcast, it needs to sound right, doesn't it? Because people are going to be listening on less than optimal systems, going to be listening in cars. That's right. I tend to listen to podcasts in my car a lot, in the kitchen. It needs to have a level of production quality. You can get a microphone for easily between £50 to £100 that will do it very good justice. It's a scale. Obviously, you spend a little bit, you get a lot. I have mics, £750, £1,000 plus, and the quality's there, but yeah.
Okay. And I'm guessing there's a point at which on lower level recording equipment you're probably not going to get the full benefit of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before I go too nerdy, I'll stop myself before I go too nerdy.
Well, I mean, you showed off your microphone earlier on. I can't hesitate. I've got. I do like a nice microphone myself, the Rode NTG2 here, but yeah, no, it's good to spend a little bit and get a lot of benefit. That's for sure. Yeah, yes. I would totally agree. What about actually recording it? What sort of software can people record it on? I mean, just standard stuff.
So most of the big DAW companies, DAW is Digital Audio Workstation, which is what they are. Sorry, acronym.
Digital Audio Workstation. Is that DAW? Right. Okay, I've got it. Yeah. Okay.
Cool. Yeah. They've pretty much all got a free version.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't really used any of the free versions. Again, it doesn't deal with the requirements that I need. But they all seem to have them. Pro Tools First is one. Cubase have one. There's an endless list. If you, again, Google it, you will find an endless list.
Sure. And I mean, I guess if you're looking at Pro Tools, then the very, very entry level version of Pro Tools is effectively GarageBand, right? So if somebody's on a Mac, GarageBand's there. I mean, I know you're looking at me in horror, thinking GarageBand. I would never open such a thing, but it does a job, right?
Yeah,
kind of.
Yeah. No. GarageBand's a great starting point.
Yeah. Okay. So that's all good. So I mean, then there's I know. Again, we could be talking in the sorts of area where professionals will be looking at it and going no. But things like Audacity and all these other things. I mean, there's plenty of stuff out there, isn't there?
I think Reaper is the big free popular one. I've never actually opened it.
Okay, but Reaper is one to look at as well. Okay, that's good to know. So thank you for that. So looking at the live streaming piece, then I mean, we're live streaming right now. We're both sort of reasonably well lit, I'd like to think. That's good. We've both shown off the fact we've got microphones, so hey, people can hear us, people can see us. This is a good thing. So the basics are pretty much covered. But what's the sorts of things that people need to be thinking about if they're going to do some live streaming?
Have something to talk about, which makes that question funny, But again, plans don't go live for no reason. And if it doesn't have to be live, then potentially question it. There are lots of streams that look live that aren't live, where they're pre-recorded and they just go out to look live, which is quite clever. This isn't one of those situations, unfortunately.
No, as the people in the chat who we are talking to right now can attest, it is entirely genuine.
That's the downside. Any live interaction. Obviously, when I talk to people about live streaming, we talk about the fact that we can sort of hybrid it, and have some fake, some real, or fake, or real. It's all an option.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's many of the similar things to what we're talking about with video. Just put the effort in early and it'll pay off later. Think about the lighting. Think about the sound. If I talk to you from halfway across the room, then it's harder to hear what I'm saying. So if you're going to have a microphone, have it as close to your face as you can.
Okay. So if I go over here and start talking, hello, it doesn't sound quite as good as if I'm actually here and you can actually hear me talking.
It's obvious and simple physics. And then as far as framing goes, and this goes for Zoom as well, just think about how you're framing yourself. I mean, mine's not actually that great. My frame is a little bit not perfect, but I'm using my little webcam on top of my screen. It's hard to angle sometimes.
Okay, talk to me about perfect framing then, because I think, one thing's for sure, all of us have been on a lot of Zoom meetings over the last year, but I think it's fair to say that despite the fact that we're all used to Zoom now, I still see a lot of people who maybe, I guess through the fact they're just not aware of it, maybe don't use their camera. Oh yeah, but they do a bit of that like you're doing right now. So talk me through some of the most common mistakes that people make in terms of their camera angle then.
Underneath isn't a very flattering angle sometimes. So think about your laptop. I mean, I'm guilty of going on Zoom on a laptop.
Okay. So if I readjust my microphone, if I readjust my camera here for a second and I sort of make it like it's a laptop lid, so I'm kind of looking down on it like that. Is that sort of thing you're looking at?
I mean, your chins are okay, but some might call that double chin city.
Okay, well, thank you for that. There we go. I'm glad I didn't risk it with the double chin city. That would have been.
I hide all my chins. There's plenty under it.
Very good. Okay, what other sort of common mistakes are there?
Well, rather than just go through mistakes, just think I have to do it right. If you think of the screen in thirds, so third there, third there. Okay. Kind of, and put your eyes on the upper third. It'll look quite nice and natural. And obviously, if you're in the center third, it's great. It doesn't need to be exact. I'm a little bit low, I think, looking at the screen. Yeah, but it looks much more nice, much inherently a slouch. Yeah.
So basically this is we're all, I bet everybody at home now is thinking about their posture and sitting up nice and straight and straightening their shoulders and making sure that we're all nicely lined up in the images. That's very good. Yeah, so we're going to look regimented on our thumbnails next Zoom meeting, right? And then
think about the room you're in the sense that I hear a lot of people in kitchens, a lot of people in kind of very reverberant spaces. And particularly if you're on kind of a laptop speaker, a laptop internal mic or something like that, it can be sort of quite difficult to understand what you're saying. Think about going more for like a living room or somewhere with soft furnishings. I mean, I'm lucky this is my office, but also doubles as my home recording studio. So it's acoustically treated. So it's inherently quite a dry sounding space. We've got lots of reflective surfaces in the room. It can be quite difficult to understand sometimes. I've caught myself on that.
So there are a few phrases in there, if you don't mind me just picking up on. We've got reverberative, we've got a dry sound, and we've got reflection there. So talk to us about what the differences are there and what reflection and reverberative actually means.
Yeah. So the reason it's so nice to sing in the bathroom is because it's a reverberant space. You hear yourself coming back, and it supports you. It's why concert halls have such nice acoustics. It's all there, but we don't want that for a conversation. We want a direct sound that isn't bouncing around all the walls before it comes to you. So you need soft furnishings, curtains, beds, sofas, carpets, rugs, those kind of things to absorb some of that sound, so that the people on the other side of the laptop, or and this goes for video, everything. The kitchen is the worst room in the house. Kitchen, the bathroom. Just avoid the kitchen, the bathroom. In short. Okay.
So I guess, I mean, we haven't sort of planned this in advance. But if I was to get something soft and kind of put it around myself and go into my microphone, it's likely to sound much better because I'm absorbing all of the. So
I've got it on loan right now. I've got a dome that goes around. So, yeah.
But if I was to just get like a little kind of, something like this, hang it over my head.
Probably
just
not going to
talk into the microphone. Is that good?
No.
Okay. So what should people do then? If they want to sound really, I'm thinking back to the podcast. How when you're talking about podcasting, how would people make themselves sound good like that then?
Reflection filters are a good way to start. So the go-to budget home vocal booth is a reflection filter around the back of the microphone, which if you Google it, you will find it. It's hard to explain what it is. I recorded an album with a tea towel over my head singing into a mic. And then put something behind you. So an old duvet is great. The thing is, it needs to be, the heavier the better, if that makes sense. Don't get your summer duvet or a thin sheet. It's got to have some weight to it, because you think about the energy that the sound wave is making, it needs to be able to absorb that energy.
Yeah. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And as you know, I do have one of those cowls. I was only being very silly when I was putting my jumper over my head. But as James Miller has said here, he once recorded an album with a tea towel over his head, singing into a mic. Well done there, James. Excellent stuff. I mean, might not have done anything for the sound, but at least you had a dry head, I guess.
I've heard James. It's lovely.
Yeah, excellent, good stuff. Yes, on the restreaming stuff, Martin has rightly said the basic restream. Stream Deck is also another one, I think, or StreamYard, I should say. There's basically a number of different restreaming type bits of software. We're using Restream right now. It's a very useful piece of software. It streams to multiple different platforms. This is going out live as we speak on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and on YouTube. So very good stuff.
A lot of professional streams still use OBS, and OBS is completely free.
Yes, absolutely. And Martin also says get a furry cover for your microphone, which is very useful if you're outside, certainly, because that sort of cuts a lot of wind noise, doesn't it?
It'll also take the pops, again, from microphones. Think about plosives. So your P's, your B's, sounds. So you want to keep, if you're going to have a microphone, keep it out of the direct airflow, unless you're going to use something like a pop shield. Which, again, if you're podcasting, isn't a bad investment. Again, very, very cheap.
Again, not something I prepared, but bear with me 1 second. I think I might even have one somewhere. Yeah, no, I don't have it to hand, but I do have it to hand. Hang on a second. We've got equipment everywhere. There you go. That's the sort of thing.
I was thinking more about the coat hanger with types on. A coat hanger with types on.
Very nice. That's also useful. There you go. So, but thank you for that, Jack. Believe it or not, that's a nice little pop guard. Thank you for that. That's very useful. So we are, believe it or not, coming to the end of our half an hour together. I did tell you it was going to go nice and quickly, didn't I?
I don't think I made too much of a fool of myself. That's good.
We've got to the bit where we've descended into showing each other sort of various kind of bits of microphones and stuff like that. So it tells you that we're both a bit nerdy and we love this stuff. But Jack, it's been an absolute blast talking to you today, and hopefully a lot of people got some value out of it as well. Lots of people seem to be dropping things in the comments, so really good to have everybody doing that. Jack, how do people actually get in touch with you? How do they reach out to you? How do they make contact?
So connect with me on LinkedIn. Always love having new connection requests on LinkedIn. Reach out to my website, jackgreenmedia.com. You'll find all my contact details there.
Absolutely fantastic. Great stuff. And similarly, if anybody wants to get in touch with me, my name's Matthew Dashper-Hughes. There aren't too many Dashper-Hugheses around. In fact, there's basically two of us, me and my wife. I'm the other one. Basically, it's if you want to reach out to me, my email address is just mdh@sandler.com. I suppose my mobile phone is probably the easiest thing, 07715 269 724. And of course, yes, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, and I'd be delighted to connect, delighted to have a conversation with you. But that is us for yet another Friday Live. It's been an absolute blast talking to you, Jack. Thank you so much for your time today. Hope that everybody's enjoyed that. Yes, we'll see you all again next week for another Friday Live with yet another really, really interesting guest. Thank you very much, Jack.
Bye.